Hello everybody, I am Razorblade Mango, and this is the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 Open Beta. And if you followed my channel since 2014, and you've seen my top 10 games of 2014 list, you will know that the original Garden Warfare was actually on that list. And I still to this day play it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot better than it has any right to be, considering it's a third-person shooter game based on a very popular free-to-play mobile game, which should raise a lot of red flags for me, but I actually ended up really liking it, and I was one of the people that sneered at the concept of Garden Warfare. I think that was around the time I was on having one of my Xbox One hate boners at the beginning of 2013. So now we're on Garden Warfare 2, which was inevitable considering the first one was a big success. And I'm glad that they're doing an open beta for it, because I like the idea of companies doing a whole, try before you buy. You get to do stress tests on the servers. You get to see if the community is really engaged with the product. And so far, it seems to be a good success for them. Now, personally, open betas also worry me, because we've seen examples like it, particularly last year, where stuff like Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, Star Wars Battlefront, Rainbow Six Siege. For me personally, stuff like that, once I played the open beta, I kind of was just not really interested in the full game anymore. I felt like I had already played everything, and I was just... It just not killed my excitement, but it was like I played the open beta, and then when it came time for the full game, I felt like, well, I've seen everything I'm gonna see. I'll give the full game a shot, but I'm not really expecting much. And unfortunately, the idea that, wow, I've already seen everything proved to be true with stuff like Star Wars Battlefront and Rainbow Six Siege. Now, Garden Warfare 2 is an interesting case, because this is a game that is no longer... I mean, even the first one had a very lackluster single-player offering. This one has more of a substantial single-player offering. You can do all the modes with bots, which is good, thank you. There's a really interesting hub world called the Backyard Battleground, where one side is plants, one side is zombies, and then the center, it's basically no man's land. So you can walk in there, and I've got footage for it that comes in a little bit later, where you raise the flag in the middle of no man's land, and then you and up to 3 other friends can compete in a wave-based game where you earn coins, you'll get experience for your characters, you can complete quests now, somewhat like Destiny, which I'll get to that comparison a little bit. And I like what I'm seeing so far from the single player. It's not a very substantial world, unfortunately. The Backyard Battleground, there's kind of just the raise the flag thing, the wave-based thing, and then there's like some Easter eggs that are around the environment. And like I said, not very substantial, but it's much better than the single player offering that we got from the first game. Which, speaking of the first game costs $40 when it came out. And it's a lot cheaper now, but back then I gave it a little bit more slack because it was a budget title. It clearly was kind of just one of those games that was like, well, you can try it as an experiment, but, don't like spend so much money on it. We're not going to promote it a lot. And I think EA was surprised by the success that it had, because it was one of those games that, like, kids that aren't allowed to play Call of Duty and even, T-rated stuff like Star Wars Battlefront, this is a nice replacement for them, because in some ways I think it's a lot better, because it does encourage more positive gameplay, it encourages more cooperation with your team. It's a more of a family-friendly area. But I'm sure those assholes that go on Garden Warfare and spit a bunch of racist, sexist bullshit, I mean, you're going to get that for a lot of for every online game. But I think it's a better environment for families in this game. And I definitely see that in Garden Warfare 2. I'm glad that stuck around. I'm glad they still keep the really goofy humor in it, which I like a lot. And now we're getting a game that costs $60. So my biggest question with this game is, does it warrant $60? Is what we're getting in the package worth $60? And, you know, it's an open beta. They've blocked off a lot of the modes that are going to come with it. But so far, I don't really know the answer to that. It's not like Battlefront where I feel like I've already played the game from the open beta, and I'm like, yeah, you know, open beta. And the open beta for Battlefront was was pretty damn good. It was the game itself that I wasn't so fond of. So that could may as well be the case for Garden Warfare 2. But I'm hoping this game proves to me that it has what it takes to be worthy of a $60 game by my standards. And so what's in Garden Warfare 2? At least the open beta. Well, they had one mode every day, which was basically Suburbanation. So you got to play that every day. And they switched out modes day to day. I think one day it was Turf Takeover, another it was Team Vanquish, another it was Kill Confirmed. So you get pretty much the same modes from Garden Warfare, the first one. Even the Gnome Bomb, which was a DLC add-on, which is one of the opening, which is one of the base modes that's now in Garden Warfare 2, which I like, because I really like Gnome Bomb from the original. And they're about the same. Nothing's really changed all that much. Just battles function as they did in the first one. It's just, you know, if you played the first one, you've mostly played the second one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And I think people would have liked to have seen, you know, more variety of modes rather than just shoot zombies or shoot plants, take over areas. And I hope they release more interesting modes in the future. So there's hope for that. The characters, the new ones, I like for the most part. My personal favorites are Rose from the plants, Colonel Corn from the plants, and the Imp from the zombies. All the rest of them I like, but I don't use them anywhere near as much, which is a surprise considering that all the characters looked really cool from the trailer. I was particularly interested in using Citron, but Citron I don't find he's very useful in single player against AI. In multiplayer, I haven't found him to be particularly useful. I mostly just stick with Colonel Corn in multiplayer, but that might change if they tweak the character for the final game. Now, I did mention that this game has a Destiny vibe, and I stand by that, which could be a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to screw even more with the progression of this game, because it does have microtransactions. I will keep that. I will definitely let you guys know that it has microtransactions. It's going to have microtransactions, and they've amped up the coin price from the first game. Whereas 40,000 coins will get you like the best pack. Now it's 75,000 coins that will get you the best pack, and I don't know whether they're just fucking with the progression just to encourage microtransactions, which they probably are. Now, the one thing I will give them credit for is that it is easier to earn coins in Garden Warfare 2. In Garden Warfare 1, basically you kind of just had, if you wanted to get the cards quickly, you either had to buy them through microtransactions, or you had to buy, or not buy, but you had to do Gardens and Graveyards over and over and over again, because that was the mode that got you the most coins in a session. So I like that there's more options to earn coins in Garden Warfare 2. Now, considering this is just an open beta, I'm hoping they don't be dicks and tweak the progression even more, because whenever I see that a game has microtransactions and has a progression system, I automatically think, oh god, how much have they tinkered with the progression to tempt people to purchase microtransactions? Because that, I always hate it when companies do that. It's why Mortal Kombat X just annoyed me and I just gave up on it, because they fucked with the progression. And that's something I could potentially see them doing in Garden Warfare 2, especially considering it's EA and EA suck. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope the game proves me wrong, because I'm definitely am looking forward to playing the final game. Also, considering it's a beta, there are numerous glitches. The game's crashed on me a few times. I did fall through the map once, which I actually thought was kind of funny. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and this was actually, I think I made my most anticipated games of the year list too soon, because this was actually going to be on, I think number 10 or number 9 spot, and I gotta get that out for you guys this week. But I don't know if it will continue to be on there, because of some concerns raised by the beta, but we'll see. I mean, I'm still going to buy this game day one. I am still looking forward to it. I have faith in PopCap because they are a good company. I did enjoy the first one a lot. I still play it to this day. So, hoping it's good. And I think the beta is going on. By the time you see this, I think it's like a few hours left on the beta. So, if you haven't played it yet, try to see if you can get into it. I think it ends at 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So by the time this goes up, you'll have about maybe like 4 or 5 hours before it goes offline. So try to squeeze in some time with it if you haven't already. If you have, let me know what you thought of it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Oh, and there's also, bring back the mute all button. I don't like it when games don't have a mute all button. Like, if I don't want to hear any kids talking during the game, I just want to be able to do it like the first game where I just open the player menu and click mute all, and it's boom. I don't like going into it and selecting individual players to mute. It irritates me. So please fix that, PopCap, if you're listening. Alrighty, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 beta. As always,